Donald Trump was caught making some numbers up on drug prices. Let's watch.
Your numbers don't add up,
Let me
sir.
explain something. Because of the fact that the pharmaceutical companies are not mandated to bid properly, they have hundreds of billions of dollars in waste. We don't bid properly. We don't have proper bidding procedures. The reason we don't is because they take care of all of the senators, all of the congressmen, and they don't bid. They don't go out to bid.
Trump?
Take a look. Excuse me. You're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars.
No, you're not.
If we went out to the proper bid. Of course you are.
No, you're not, sir. Let's put up full screen number 2. You say that Medicare could save $300 billion a year negotiating lower drug prices, but Medicare total only spends $78 billion a year on drugs. Sir, that's the facts. You're talking about saving more money on Medicare.
I'm saying saving through negotiation throughout the economy, you'll save $300 billion a year.
Deficit.
And that's a huge, of course it is. We're going to buy things for less money. Of course it is. That works out.
The only money that we buy, the only drugs that we pay for is through Medicare.
I'm not only talking about drugs, I'm talking about other things. We'll save more than $300 billion a year if we properly negotiate.
Okay. That was awesome, because you have Chris Wallace, who took what Trump has said repeatedly on the campaign trail, and he's like, well, let's just match this up to the numbers. He's like, wait, you're saying we'll save $300 billion for renegotiating for drug prices for Medicare. We don't even spend that much on it, period. So how are we going to save more than we even spend on it? That doesn't make any sense. And then Trump's like, well, you know, the thing is, I mean, in the broader economy and in Medicare as a whole and in other things, we're going to negotiate and then we're going to save money. Okay, but what you said, the numbers don't match up. Now, again, you can pivot now and say, well, I just mean save $300 billion in a broader sense, not just with drug prices with Medicare, but with all of Medicare and with other aspects of the government. You could say that, but that's not the original point you made. You're just wrong on the original point. You didn't bother to look up the numbers. You just pull shit out of your ass. Like, oh, I don't know, $300 billion we'll save from negotiating with Medicare. Now, again, you would think that people would look at this and go, oh, this guy is so full of shit, it's ridiculous. I mean, look at this. These numbers are so wildly off. But how did this go over? Stop and think about it. Look at what they chose to attack him on. They chose to attack him on something where the core issue, numbers aside, the core issue, he's actually right. Under the Bush administration and even under the Obama administration, they re-upped this. They made it so that Medicare cannot negotiate with the pharmaceutical companies for better drug prices. So that does mean that your average person gets hosed and they're paying way more for their drugs than people in other countries do. So Trump is right to point out, hey, no, we need to be able to negotiate with the pharmaceutical companies. This is bullshit. Now, he's dead wrong on the numbers, and he made up the numbers, but Fox chose to attack him on a rare issue where he's actually trying to argue for less corruption and argue for the people because he says we should negotiate and stop letting the pharmaceutical companies fuck us over. So how does this go over in the mind of your average Republican voter and your average person, really? They look at this and they go, okay, Chris Wallace, you're getting caught up on minor details here. What he's saying is, let's just, stand up to the pharmaceutical companies who have bought our government, as he basically said there, as Trump said there. People look at that and they go, yeah, he's right. I don't care that he's dead wrong on the numbers. He's right on that aspect of it. Yet again, he portrays himself as anti-establishment. And yet again, look at every single snap poll after the debate. Who won and who won in a landslide? Donald fucking Trump. And this is the problem, especially with attacks on Trump from right-wing media or Republican politicians or right-wingers in general, is that their attacks don't make sense. The Republican establishment attacks against him don't make sense because they get angry over the things that are least objectionable about Donald Trump. When Donald Trump says, hey, I'm not going to cut Social Security and Medicare, the Republican establishment is like, oh, how ridiculous. With the budget, we need to balance the budget, and they're spending too much money on old people, please. There's such a burden on the system, aren't they? We need to cut their money, and perhaps they go hungry, but who cares? So we're against that. He wants to help old people. What a ridiculous person. Like, you think that's going to fucking resonate? You think it's going to resonate when Mitt Romney comes out there, and he's like, come on, Donald. You don't want to do more unnecessary free trade deals that ship out good American jobs? How unserious are you? Trump's like, yeah, I'm standing up for the American people on these issues. Now, again, do I believe Trump? Do I think he's actually going to do it? No. But since he's making the argument, people are going to go, I like that guy. I like that guy. Take away all the ridiculous shit, the fucking weasel on his head, and, the fact that he is a con artist and he has a track record of bankruptcies, all that stuff. They're like, put it aside. He just said he's going to protect Social Security. He just said he's going to do infrastructure spending. He just said he's going to stand up to the pharmaceutical companies. And all the attacks from the right on him are silly shit like that. Or my favorite one, Ted Cruz said roughly 23 times during the debate, Donald Trump back in the day funded John Kerry and Hillary Clinton and all these Democrats. I'm Ted Cruz. I get it, Ted. I get it. That attack did not work in the last 5 fucking debates when you used it repeatedly then. He still went on to curb stomp you on Super Tuesday. So why do you think it's going to work now? All the attacks from the right against Trump are bullshit, which is why he ends up winning all the debates and winning the fucking primaries. But they never learn. Because they don't know how to wage an effective attack against him, because all the shit that Trump believes that's abhorrent, they believe it too. Torture people, yeah, fuck it. Kick out 11 million undocumented immigrants. I don't give a fuck. Ban all Muslims. Secretly, they're like, kind of like that one, so they can't attack him on the stuff where he's most vulnerable and he's most pathetic. And there you have it. Donald Trump, yet again, I don't care what anybody else says, I saw the numbers. You can see the numbers too in the post-debate polling. He won, even though there were some attacks where they put up numbers and said, that makes no sense, Donald.